Hey guys, we've got news for Global on January 13th, and this week joining me to discuss the news is Livedili. So say hello.
Hey everyone, Livedili here. I'm glad to be back on this, well, let's call it podcast, I guess.
Podcast work, yeah, it's pretty much what it is. So this week we've got a standalone banner. Nothing really unexpected. We kind of knew this guy was coming. It is Tulien, and he has got some not really global upgrades, but I guess global early upgrades that he got in the JP server down the road. So overall, he is a breaker, and I'll just say right away, he is not the most impressive unit on a standalone, just by himself. But he brings a lot of useful toys along with him, including a global exclusive upgrade, or global exclusive card, I should say. So we're gonna skip directly to the absolute best part of this banner, in my opinion. So Liv Dilly, what do you think about this completely global exclusive card coming with this banner?
Well, my first reaction when I saw this was wow. And I think it's really, really good. It's super slot efficient at what it does. I mean, it's on the screen, it's 250 attack defense. I don't know, is this actually, it's probably static, right? Because if it's
Yes.
baseline, that's way too overpowered. So
The,
I'm assuming it's
yeah.
static.
The base stat is 110 defense and attack, and then 250 flat attack, kind of like Tyvis's card
Yeah.
for Brave XPS units,
Okay.
etc. But this is for anyone, no
Yeah, it's
restrictions.
Yeah, it is so good. And the second passive is also really amazing. It's Master of Fate baked into a vision card. It's so slot efficient, it's unreal, honestly.
Awesome. Now that one is locked to Brave XPS units only, but
Yeah.
thankfully this one is not gender locked. This is just all Brave XPS units. So Sky is another one that's probably really going to like this card.
True. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's also super, super good for Carton.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to build him for a 5.5x chain cap, that's something you could do, I guess. But I think this is a whole different topic to talk about how to make units that are actually true dual wield, true double hand with this card, if they are FFBE units, that is.
I can't think of any others from Brave Exvius that kind of want to go off type. I guess like Madame Adele, for example, if anyone's still using her. It's just that
Last gen, for example,
yeah,
if they
last
were
gen, stuff
relevant.
like that. The problem is most of these are like kind of outdated. I think Carton is the only current one that likes to break the dual wield and go double hand. Tifa would be another one that would love to do it, but unfortunately she doesn't qualify.
Yeah, sadly.
And then also the last passive is auto cast at the beginning of battle, AoE Greatsword Imperil, Fire, and Earth Resistance down. Now for this one we don't have the numbers, the official numbers yet. So this depends entirely on the potency. Like if it's an 80% Imperil, no one cares. It was like 135 and permanent duration or something, and then like a 35% Greatsword Imperil. This is probably reaching. I doubt it's going to be that intense on numbers. But yeah, it just really depends on how powerful and how long of a duration this is. It could just be like a one-turn thing, maybe for like OTK teams or something, and then you got to use your own. But like even if that didn't exist, just the first two passives on this card seem really, really good to me.
Oh yeah, indeed. Should we make predictions? What we think the last passive is gonna be? The
Yeah, go
values
for
for
it. Okay,
the
so I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna say I'm gonna assume this is gonna be a 30% Greatsword Imperil and a
Mhm.
125 Elemental Imperil, but it's only gonna be for like 2 turns or something. So it's only gonna be for like OTK teams. No, no.
Yeah,
So what's yours?
I'm with you on the Greatsword Imperial. I think it's gonna be 30%. And for the Fire Earth Resistance Imperial, I think it's gonna be 120 for 3 turns.
3 turns? Okay. I would love if this is a permanent duration, so like you could just completely
Same.
replace a like a breaker or something, not a breaker, a imperil unit, or you could use something that like Titus, for example, with a great sword. That would be more of a thing after the variants update. But for units that don't have their own imperil, if it was a permanent duration, that would be so good. It'd be so
Oh
good.
yeah, indeed.
And then jumping back
As
to the
long as
unit.
it's FFP.
the unit himself, which is not the most the most impressive. So here is his step up. This is a new kind of step up. It's 6 steps. I think it was 25,000 for the entire route. And as you see, if you do all the way to step 6, you will get this vision card guaranteed. And this is the only way to get this vision card. This is a limited time, I guess, paid only vision card, because you have to spend 25k lapis. There is no like getting the unit early and walking away at like 3k spent or something. You have to go the full distance, 25k, and you will get this card guaranteed as a bonus perk. So also you get 50 of the shards on banner. Now this seems really great, but keep in mind, I did check, I don't have the news shown, but he does not have shards in the summon shop. So they basically just give you the shards right away on banner. So it's not like you're getting 50 more shards than usual. They just aren't in the summon shop. So your summon tokens are going to be used for like, red pearls or whatever you choose to use them for. So before we talk about the... Yeah, go ahead, Liv.
It is a downside to this banner. It's also only 1 step, which I guess is due to the vision card. Mm-hmm. It kind of reminds me of Riku's step up, where we only had 1 step, and if you didn't pull Riku on that step or on that lap, you were kind of dead in the water. Well, you got 1 Riku guaranteed at the end, but...
Oh, okay.
Kind of,
Oh, yeah, Riku didn't have like a plain old banner to keep going, did she?
Exactly.
Oh, is Tulien going to have one? I actually don't know. I just assumed he would, but this is very similar to Riku, so maybe he doesn't have a banner you can keep pulling on, so if you don't get it... No, you have to. You have to. Okay, yeah, I'm looking right here, because you need 10 of the summon tokens to exchange for the featured. You only get 6 here. Yeah, so there has to be a regular banner to keep going for 4 more steps.
I hope so, or otherwise you'd have to spend money on the Fortuna and the Treasure Summon.
Oh, I forgot about those. I guess technically speaking, they could be the only source of the other 4. I don't think they're going to do that. I really hope
not.
I don't think they will, but I guess it is possible you're pointing that out. Yeah, let's hope not.
Let's hope not. Yeah.
And as far as the unit himself, like I mentioned, he's not bad or anything. He does his duty decently. He's a breaker. He's got a 145 Earth in Peril, which is actually pretty good. It's just that Earth teams aren't super popular, and they're probably not going to be from the known upcoming JP future. But, if a fight is weak to only Earth, then he is a good Earth in Peril. He's got 25 Axe in Peril, and that's basically where it ends. He's only got 87% breaks in his kit. Yeah, he does have an 88% break from his special accessory. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But, and then real quick before I ask you, Liv, what you think, I'm going to point out, he does have a really, really nice TMR. This Earthbreaker thing, it can only be equipped to units with the debuff tag, but as long as they have the debuffer tag, they can equip this. It's an AoE 85% full break. Now, this sounds like kind of like, who cares? Debuffers can already do that. That's not the case. Lots of units have the debuffer tag, but no actual breaks. So this is really good for giving breaks on like Clash of Wills if you're not bringing like a dedicated breaker, or Dark Visions, or EX stages. I've used this quite a few times to give someone like Squall, who doesn't have any kind of like attack or magic breaks, but he does have the debuffer tag. It allows him to be a full breaker, which is awesome. So, and all that said, what do you think, Liv? This guy. Oh, real quick, I'll mention the axe is a really nice axe. It's two-handed. It's the best two-handed axe in the game, but it's an axe. Like, no one uses them. So what do you think, Liv?
Yet.
That is true,
well, yeah, you spoiled the fun for me. I was about to mention Squall for the TMR as well.
Oh, whoops.
I also briefly looked up Whimsical Winter Tiana, because I always had her in mind as a breaker role, but she's support healer in base, so I was kind of sad about this. But yeah, I think that the TMR is awesome, but I guess if a unit already has the breaker tag, I could assume they have better breaks than 85%. But I mean, for units such as Squall that have that breaker type just slapped onto them without having actual breaks, this is awesome, obviously. And yeah, I'm a fan of the STMR, honestly. I like the axe. If a unit can wear it, that is. And if you have an axe in peril, currently only Tulien on the team, I mean, this is going to be fun rolling variants with, right? 1.1 to 1.9. That's pretty much another whole slot of DPS added to it if you're lucky.
That is true. If you decide to go for that extreme high roll and like the 1.9, this is actually going to outperform things like Black Sparky and all that. You know, with the disclaimer that you do kind of have to bring Tulien, or actually Ignacio technically has Axe and Peril as well.
All right.
But no one's
That's
bringing
true.
him.
I can't wait for the other meta, the hammer meta, because we
Oh,
already
jeez.
have May for that. It's going to be, it's the same variance range unless the variance update changes. I'm not quite sure about that.
Yeah. And Tulien, as far as his damage goes, he's got a 210 SLB modifier. So, like, it's not complete trash tier. It's just, like, when most units these days are walking around with 350 or better, with Tybus STMR. 210 feels pretty far behind, and it kind of is. Like, Zidane, for reference, is, like, 290 or something. So, yeah, like, 210 is really, really outdated. So
Indeed. And he's SLB.
I know, SLB. Like, JP, please stop with the SLB units, but unfortunately he is. So based on that, Liv, I'm probably going to pull, because this card, for me, seems really, really good, and I'm loving this. So I'm almost certain going to go for it. It's now or never. It's limited time. If you miss it, it's just gone. It seems future-proof, because like there's nothing like this on the JP server coming. So I'm probably 25K down the drain on Thursday for me. How about for you?
I really didn't want to pull for Tulien, but I guess FOMO will get the best of me this time around. So I don't want to get caught with my pants down again. I missed out on Sky. I hated myself for it. And if this is another one of those days where a vision card suddenly is mandatory for anything, I'll be very sad.
I forgot to go over mentioning vision card. We forgot about Tulien's own personal vision
Oh,
card. This is actually
please.
also really, really good. I was super tempted to go for this even before seeing the global card, because the perfect example we just had, it was Arboralis and building Bulwark as your provoke tank with all those resistances. That was really hard to do. This would have made it quite a bit easier to open up like an accessory slot for a 30 resist all materia or something, and you can drop the Moogle Charm for this or something like that. It's also got evasion on it, so this is really good for doing a support unit as your provoker, or even the tank themselves. If for some reason your tank is like limited on slots, maybe we've got a future Clash of Wills. Next one we need 450 to all the resistances or something.
Oh,
And that seems to be ramping up the resistances each month, maybe. But
maybe.
this card is really good, and there's no restrictions. There's no series lock. There's no gender lock. Nothing. It's just everyone gets the passives. So what do you think about this card, Liv?
Amazing. I know I trash talked this card in my monthly outlook, but now that I thought about it, and one thing that came to my mind a day afterwards was once we get the update where we can slap vision cards onto 7-star units, units such as Mastermind Xorn will greatly, well, synergize with this. It's going to be a lot easier to build 7-star units for passive provoke and resistances as it was, or as it is right now.
Definitely.
I mean, still not using 7-star units outside some meme clears like yours with Moogle nourishing Clash. But for Dark Visions, it's certainly going to be an option.
And to go off on a tangent real quick, then if you bring it up, do you think we're going to be getting the 7-star vision cards on global? Because the reason JP did that is because they frequently upgrade 7-stars to make them relevant to the Neovision's meta. Like they're never like the best unit, but they upgrade quite a few 7-stars to be usable on on a Neovision's team, and the vision card is part of that whole outlook of 7-stars should still be useful. Global has totally gone a different direction to where 7-stars are not even to be thought about anymore. So do you think they're actually going to bring that to global, the 7-star vision card slot?
I would hope so, because that's one of the uses for the mystery crystals, isn't it?
It is. There's two uses on JP. You can either
Yeah.
use one to give a 7-star a vision card slot, or you can use 10 of them to upgrade a Neo Visions unit to level 130.
Yeah, okay. So I'm really hoping that we're getting this particular part of the usage, but I'm afraid that with all the skipping of unit upgrades, especially 7-star unit upgrades, I think the only thing we're getting is the 130 level increase to the units via the crystals and just outright skip the 7-star cards, which would be a shame. This unit Zack, for example, he actually deals good damage with his if you equip him with a vision card. Or Avalanche Jesse is also, I think, a lot easier to use, especially for a limit burst with a vision card equipped. So there's a lot of upsides, and it makes for more flexible unit compositions than we currently have.
For example, you mentioned Jesse. The reason it's so good for people that don't play the JP server is along with that update, some of the vision cards get passives added to them that are only usable by 7 stars, and one of them on the Riser card, it gives any 7-star equipped with this unleashed power, which is the thing that starts you at a full LB. So that is really good on Jesse for like speed clears, or Steiner to just use VV on turn 1 with no extra support. Like it's a
Oh.
really good update that I hope Global doesn't skip, but they may. But to get back on track for this week's news, the last thing about Tulien is he's getting his special gauntlets. These are from Special Quest, which is the stuff like, run 20 dungeons, do 20 limit bursts, that kind of whatever stuff. It gives, and I mentioned earlier, an 88% break he has. This is where he gets his 88% break by equipping this gauntlet, and it gives him, only on Tulien, an 88% single target break. It also gives him, or gives anyone, passive provoke and draw attacks, which is the same thing. And then on Tulien, if you give it to him this version, it gives him an auto-casted AoE nuke, which is basically just like a speed way to clear like story stages. It's not anything relevant for trials. So this is not much to say about these, or kind of whatever. But also we're getting the daily fragment dungeon again. So were you expecting this, Liv, considering we just got it in
No.
December?
I totally expected my second Sephiroth to be EX plus 3 sometime around March. So I'm very happy to have the Fragment dungeon back. It's a surprise. A
You
nice
know,
one to be sure.
that is a good thing to point out. You maybe just realized. I was thinking before this, like, I've got Tyvis, I've got Auron. I definitely want to run them in the dungeon. But then the other 3 slots, I was like, I've really got no one super meta that I care about. I've either already got them to EX3 or I don't own the base unit yet. So I was like, what am I going to do? But actually, now that you're making me think of it, running duplicates of old premiums to eventually get a second of their cards is a really good idea. That at first I would have said that's like super ultra whale only, but at this point I've off bannered Tifa like 3 or 4 times. I'm like halfway there already, so I might do
This is
that to get
exactly
another
where I'm
card.
at. Yep, it's exactly where I'm at. I need exactly one more Sephiroth for a second EX plus 3. I think I need 2 or 3 more Tifa for another vision card. So my plan is actually to use the next 2 fragment dungeons to fill 5 out of 5 slots with premium units.
That's a really good idea. So yeah, we're getting the fragment dungeon. It's the same as we've always had it. I will say briefly, I'm kind of disappointed that Global is not changing it to the JP style where we get it every day. There was some speculation that maybe because players are unhappy with the way Global handles the dungeon, maybe Gumi would listen and adjust it to the permanent every single day forever fragment dungeon where you get less shards per day, but it's more consistent. It's overall similar amounts over the course of an entire year, JP versus Global, but I and many other players really do enjoy the consistency of how the JP server handles it. It's just every day. You don't got to wait. Like, for example, if you pull a brand new unit on January 27th, the day after this closes, well, you're probably waiting 3 months until you even start getting fragments, which is annoying. What are your thoughts on it? Do you prefer the burst fragments like Global does it, or would you rather like the a few per day but every day forever version?
I totally prefer the drip feed every day forever. It's you have more safety, or you can plan ahead way better with the drip feeding than with, well, bursting it out every 3 months or so.
But it is coming literally a month after we just got it, so that I don't want to take away from that. That is awesome that Gumi is not making us wait till like March or something to get it again. So that is useful. That will give me an EX2 Tybus, considering my pulls were a dumpster fire.
Oh boy.
And then the last thing. Oh, I know. And then the last thing is Stroper. This is a new 12 type takedown, or the race trials. This is for Stone. You might have been seeing some like JP stuff where the race trials have been completely off the deep end with like War Machine and all that. This one is still on the easy modes. So this is like Archeovavius. That was a complete and utter joke. This is the exact same thing. It is a complete and utter joke. You're gonna go in there. You're gonna take your free Titus. You're gonna chain it and kill it in like 4 turns, and you're done. It's not even gonna deal any damage to your team. It is disappointing. I was kind of like expecting or hope not. I wasn't expecting. I did not expect, but I was hoping maybe there's like a global upgrade tag. We've made this trial not a complete brain dead sleepwalk, but they didn't. So whatever. Okay, so it's a stone enemy. You've got to use fire. You've got to or earth. Either one. Use an evasion cover tank, and the boss deals 0 damage. And yeah, kill it in a few turns. So what do you think, Liv? Are you looking forward to this? I will say real quick before you answer, this is amazing. We're getting a 75% Reaper Killer, which is super good for Dark Anima, which is currently active, and it'll still be active on Thursday. And then the main reward is a craftable 75% Stone Killer Plus. So what do you think, Liv? Is this going to be exciting? Is it going to be too hard for you to clear?
I think the hardest part is going to be not fainting from my booster shot on Thursday rather than clearing this try.
Oh, geez. I had that a week and a half ago, and I was dead on the second day. Like, my mother got it pretty recently as well, and she had, like, no effects the next day. I got it the next day. Oh. I was just, like, bedridden. I was dying the next day. So
I hope I don't have any side effects as well, and can just face roll this trial.
But yeah, it's a trial. I'll have budget videos out. I'm sure you will as well, Liv.
Yep.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I'm glad we're getting it. It's a trial, even though it's easy. It is there, so it's something to do. We'll both be clearing it on Thursday, and that's pretty much it. So I guess look for my polls for this on Thursday. Look for Liv's on Thursday, it sounds like, as well. And thanks for joining me to discuss the news.
Thank you very much for having me. It's always a pleasure.
All right. See you guys next time.